2.5 months in, I'm at 12K a month.
But the coaching inside the inner circle, honestly, is so strong.
But you talk about how you just landed a $7,000 client. What's up, Tash? Welcome.
Thanks for having me, Mace.
I'm excited to have you. We were just talking about this before, one of the fastest come ups, I guess, in probably inner circle history.
Thanks so much.
Do you want to tell them or should I?
You can do the honors.
Okay. So you join and then I I checked in once you showed
Yeah.
up, and then the next time we talked, you were like, "Oh yeah, by the way, it's like 2.5 months in, I'm at 12K a month."
Yeah.
And I thought you were messing with me because we've known each other before.
Yes. Yeah. We've known
Um,
each other a long time.
yeah, yeah, family, friends kind of thing. And so you
Hmm.
hop in, and it was honestly shocking. And so like what I really want to do is kind of do like a deep dive into like how
Sure.
you were able to crack it so fast. I just did an email about this. This is gonna come out later, but
Okay.
today I talked about how you got yourself basically 150K a year gig,
Hmm.
working probably 15, 20 hours a week in
Yeah.
2.5 months.
Yeah. It's incredible. Like, I honestly didn't even believe that this was real until I cracked it myself. And it was like I was watching your journey as you were coming up and that sort of thing. And I just like I didn't even understand the industry or what you were doing. Yeah, so I like dug in a little bit, watched your webinar, got into your funnel a little bit, and I was like, honestly, I got goosebumps. I just like effervesced about it and obsessed about copywriting and needed to learn. And then the only way to do that was the inner circle, so I had to hop in with you.
I
But yeah,
love it. So
it
so
has
so
changed my life.
talk about like so I know you have a bit of a writing history, but you've
Mhm.
never done copywriting. Like what
No,
was
no.
so how did you transition from like you were doing blogs, right? You have a blog
Yeah, yeah,
to writing for
yeah.
clients.
Oh yeah, I started writing in university. I did a little bit of slam poetry, trying to
Okay.
meet girls and that sort of thing. So yeah, I've always been like interested in like creative writing, and then I started a blog later in life, and got a bit of a cult following. It turned into this like queer fashion blog. Had a lot of fun with that, writing more like editorial style, and um, kind of caught a wave a little bit on social media, and it grew. We ended up doing some stuff at like New York Fashion Week, um, and just got like a lot of exposure having just writing creatively, just like editorial stuff. So I think I've always had like an interest in that sort of thing. And then when I saw what you were doing with writing, I was like, I had to learn more.
Interesting. And
Yeah.
a thing that I see a lot is people who have like a history with writing
Mhm.
usually have to do a lot of unlearning before they start going and writing copy, right? Because
Yeah.
most people are kind of like blank slates.
Yeah.
They join with us and they're like, okay, let's try and figure out from zero like how to actually write like a copywriter.
Mhm.
Was it weird to go from writing basically just straight up content for a blog to writing basically sales?
Yeah. I think it took like a minute for me to like wrap my head around. But the coaching inside the inner circle, honestly, is so strong that it was like as soon as I got a grip on what the formula was, basically on like how to use writing to like convert an audience and to like make a sale. Like once I got an idea of like that, like the concept of and the mechanisms in doing that, it was really easy. But it was just like anything, just that immediate learning curve. Like you just kind of have to develop like an understanding of what the intention is for your piece. So you're not just there to entertain. Like there's a job to do. But yeah, like going through it mechanistically, like through the inner circle and all the lessons and the daily coaching calls, it comes together really fast. So whether you have like a background in writing or not, like that just means your grammar is a little bit better and that sort of thing. But anyone can do it for sure.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
so walk me through like the first, I guess like month and a bit of like trying to crack like the money part of it. So like you're sending cold outreach. What does that sort of look like? And like what was the first client you got? Do you remember?
Um, yeah, it was like a real estate client. So it was somebody that I had been doing like a little bit of like social media content creation and that sort of thing. So I started immediately like kind of focusing on that niche. I was like, knew a few people and I thought maybe I could like add some value, like offering them some different services and that sort of thing. So I just started pitching people in pre-con on webinars and different like funnel components and that sort of thing. So I landed like a few like one-time projects and that sort of thing. And that just like the moment I sold my first client, it was like I knew that the money was real and I knew how easy it was to make it. I had
Hmm.
like barely sent like I've sent 25 cold DMs in my life. but it was like watching the calls and Alex delivering like all the sauce on like outreach and that sort of thing. It was like once you have an idea of like what to say and you know what you can do, it just like makes talking to the clients like so easy.
Okay, so it was 25 cold DMs is all you sent.
In my life, probably, yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
Like
So
the
even to
whole
get to
thing.
where you're at,
Yeah.
only 20. So your hit rate's probably just crazy.
Yeah, and I've used like networking like on social media as well. So I've been using like Twitter, like MoneyX to like just meet people and talk and network and that sort of thing. And then I did some outreach with like some famous copywriters and that I think gave me a little bit of like a lift and an edge. So I had sent a sales letter to this guy named Kelvin Dorsey, somebody I enjoyed his newsletter, and it was always like really funny and entertaining. And he had sent some jokes and that sort of thing back and forth. And I was like, well, I want to give him something back. And I also want to see, like, I had written the sales letter that was like really punchy and funny. And I was like, I want to see like what somebody at this level thinks of my work. Like, I really kind of wanted to test myself. So I sent it to him and I never heard anything. And then I was at like a play gym with my son and my Twitter was just like blowing up in my DMs and people were reaching out and offering me work because they had read about me in Calvin's newsletter. So he never
Mm,
told me about it and I had never seen it until all of a sudden I just started like getting business. So I like obviously like wrote him back a thank you, but he had endorsed me in his newsletter and talking about how he gets like a lot of outreach from like new writers all the time, but never does he read every word. And he had read mine like start to finish and he sang my praises and it just like opened the floodgates for me. So I sent him back this like photo of like one of the Golden Girls and like one of those like money machines where it's like whirling
yeah.
around. But that's literally like what it felt like. It was like it was that fast. It's like once you have
Gotcha.
like a little bit of proof of concept and you show somebody like a good sample, it's like you have a career.
Oh, 100%. And I
Yeah.
think that's one thing that so many people ignore is they try and go so linear with it, where it's just like, okay, I'm just gonna bang out as many cold emails or cold DMs as I can.
Yeah.
But like that's crafty. That's an example. And
Yeah.
Ben and I talk about this all the time, where it's like that the craftiness factor is really what sort
Yeah.
of speeds up success. And it's not something you can really teach because
No.
it's like
No.
it's supposed to be an original idea. And so you had
Yeah.
that, and that gave you all the leverage you needed to not have to do a ton of outreach, which I think is
Yeah,
pretty
I think it's like the
interesting.
relationship building. And I always like the one thing I did too is like your brother, Griff, had given me like an assignment to like write a sales letter, like advertising my copy services. And like I took a risk with it and I wrote something like really funny. And I was like, either he's gonna feel so awkward reading this because it's not gonna land, like the humor might not land, or it's going to like really slap and it's gonna be like super memorable and there'll be a hook to it. And I sent you the same thing and it was like the sales letter and I start talking about like how I once had a worm come out of my ass and like that's how the intro starts. And it's
Right.
insane and it's such a weird thing to say, but it's also like unforgettable. And then it like linked in like mechanistically to being like, unless you're my mom or that worm, like this is something you'd never know about me. I'm also like a high converting direct response copywriter. And then I go like, I've been pulling fantastic things out of my ass for as long as I can remember. And it was like, that's the thing I think that made me like stand out to Griff. And then it was like, it also made me realize that like leaning into that kind of sauce, like I kind of figured out quick that like, I feel like I've always had the juice and I've always looked to say things that are like really shocking to get people's attention, to make people laugh. Like I really love getting a rise out of people. And I feel like I just finally found like an application for that. And with my copywriting, I'm like, that's the special ingredient that I have. It's like, it's not just like being able to like, you know, follow the formula and like write a sales letter to spec. It's like it's the sauce that I'm adding to it that seems to like draw everyone in. And it's like when I reached out to Calvin, it wasn't necessarily like just the sales letter and that it was funny. It was also like the way that I appealed to him and I was like funny and punchy about it. And I think, sending cold DMs is like effective, but I think if you add a little sauce on top, if you're human, you add warmth and humor, if you've got it, I think it's like it's everything you're doing will just be like 10 times more effective. Like you just leave an impression.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I
Yeah.
remember reading that worm one. You
It's
know that
so
story.
weird.
I thought it was clever. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
And so from what you're telling me, it sounds
Yeah.
like all this stuff that it usually takes people 6 to 8 months to kind of figure out for themselves,
Mhm.
you kind of just already had. I think it's also because like, I mean, most of the people that hop in here are like 18
Yeah.
to 23-year-old young
Yeah,
dudes,
for sure.
and you have way more experience. You kind of know what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it kind of goes to show that like um success can be quick if you kind of already have those soft skills, which leads me to the so you send me another email
Mhm.
where you talk about how you just landed a $7,000 client, a
Mhm.
$7,000 a month client.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think that's what probably
Yeah.
made the bulk of the 12K
Yeah.
month you're making. So
Yeah.
talk about like how that all went down and how you ended up getting that, because that's a crazy client to get.
Yeah. They're really great guys. They're young guys that are starting an agency. They each do their own thing. One guy's a sales guy, the other guy's a marketing guy who's had his own like really successful like drop shipping offer, and now he basically like helps put together offers for other people. I had building relationships on X. A friend of theirs had put a posting up saying that the friends of theirs were starting something new and they were looking to recruit like a good copywriter and that sort of thing. So I just put my hand up and then he pointed me to them and then I gave them that crazy sales letter and interviewed and just talked with them. And honestly, it was like just a really like personable interview. We didn't talk about anything like too mechanistically. We just, basically they gave me like the scope of the work and that sort of thing. And then we just yapped a little bit. Um, and then we negotiated it further. So they're like an info agency. So I get a chance to like write a lot of info for some pretty big clients. So I'm really excited about that. But again, it was like all leveraged on like personality. It's like, I did show them some samples to show that I could work and do the work. But if you do have like that special ingredient and you can write hooks and you have a big personality, it's like the market will pay you for that. And that's like very recognized. And actually, I've only been working with them for a couple weeks. And yesterday on a call, Dylan was actually telling me that he wants to make me copy chief and give me another writer to help me out and that sort of thing. And they kind of want to help like bring me in a little bit closer, like, and make me a bigger part of the business. So
Mhm.
pumped about that.
And you went back and forth on the retainer though, right? Like, weren't you kind of you fought for that,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
which is a risk because like when you're so I'm assuming at that time you were probably around the 3 to 5K month mark,
Yeah.
and so that's funny
Yeah,
that
and I had
you
been
have that.
entertaining like other offers too, and they wanted a big chunk of my time. So it was like at the time it was like I didn't really like necessarily like need the money, so it was easy to walk away, but it was like I wanted the right fit. Like I wanted like
Mhm.
someone like an organization, like if I was going to do agency work, I wanted somebody that I could learn from. Um and like get some skills like while I'm there like working and that sort of thing. And I also wanted like the right fit. Like I wanted to be happy and work with like good people who are like going to value me and treat me nice and like that sort of thing. And when I
Mhm.
felt for a second I was like what I had interpreted as like maybe not being like respected or valued, like initially I was like this is just like not going to work and it's not the vibe that I'm looking for. But it was just like, I mean, communication is key and that's why you need to come back to the table and talk things through and stuff. But we had both like misunderstood each other like on a level, and they're actually like the nicest dudes to work for. So and it's
Yeah.
such a great fit and I'm learning so much. And yeah, I can't
That's
imagine landing anywhere else, to be honest with you.
that's the best part about freelance work, is that you truly get to curate like what your work environment looks like,
Hmm.
where like you have so many different options for what you can do and how you can charge and who you can work with, that like
Hmm.
you never have to be in a position. I mean, it's different when you're just starting, and you obviously prove that's maybe not true, but at least
Yeah.
when I was starting, like I was taking everything I could get. But then as you get more experience, people know who you are, you've been making connections. Like it's easy to sort of just pick your favorites
Yeah.
and make a phenomenal income just from that. So I
Yeah.
kind of want to pivot to talking about like what the lifestyle looks like now. So you're
Yeah.
saying you got a handsome young lad at home.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, you're obviously fully remote. You don't have to be anywhere you don't want to be.
No.
Like, do you
No.
want to talk a bit about like the experience of kind of running this on your own and having your own schedule, and like how you've sort of made your life to look with this?
Yeah, I mean, going into this, the dream was to like, it sounds sassy, but like do what I want, when I want, with who I want, right? And
Right.
like, that means like make cool projects with good people and have some flexibility to like do the other things that I have to do in life and have some balance, like as a parent and that sort of thing. And this has just like really given me all three sides of those triangles. Like all of those things like are possible and achievable, and there's just like no concessions being made. It's like I can't. recommend this enough to people, to anyone who's like a parent and has like a big life, like, or wants to have a big life, like outside of work. This is like such a great business model for that. Like, I wake up in the morning, I get my son ready, I get him off to school or summer camp or wherever he's going that day. I have time to do that. I'm not in a rush, there's no stress and, um, needing to be like anywhere at any specific time because I also like book all my own appointments and that sort of thing. So I just make everything fit within my schedule. If he's sick, it's not really a big deal. I'll just work later that day, maybe, or work a Saturday and swap a day. It's just like the ultimate flexibility. And if you can find clients, and partners that also want that same thing in their life and everybody's aligned, like we're on different in different time zones and that sort of thing. So no one is like really pressuring anyone to be like, at your desk at 8 o'clock and that sort of thing. It's just like, here's the breadth of work that the scope of work that we need for the week. As long as your deliverables are in at the end of the week, it's up to you to just kind of make it work and just do it when you have time and that sort of thing. So it's really flexible. Like none of my days like necessarily look the same. I just kind of make everything like anything I want to do in the day, I just kind of make work and fit. So
That's
it's the
unbelievable.
best, to be honest with you. It's so low stress.
Does that make you not want to really scale? Because again, a lot of the people that come in here, like they're trying to get like some crazy numbers, like
Yeah,
150K a year is like so
crazy.
cozy. Like
Yeah,
I would be chilling there. Like,
yeah,
do you feel the need to really grow beyond this, or you kind of like
yeah.
happy?
Like I think it's like my personality. Like I'm hungry. Like I feel
Uh-huh.
like if this is what I could achieve in 3 months, like what's possible in 6 months, in a year? Like, what does my own offer look like? What does, getting a rev share client look like? It's just like once you see what's possible, and you see like how you can kind of control your own schedule and make things fit, it's like, I mean, if I'm doing this and, I'm not like completely strapped for time, like I have time to like add other things in. So I don't know. I'm I'm not done yet.
Okay, cool. That's
Yeah,
good to hear. I
definitely
like
just the
that.
beginning.
I
But
like
I
that.
mean, if you wanted to be, you could be, right? So I'm sure that there'll be like
Yeah.
times in my life where I want to take a bit of a break and, scale things down a bit.
Hmm.
But for now,
Um,
being rich and famous sounds like fun.
and that's the thing with the point that you're at, where it's like you're bordering on where you know, okay, so I think like 15 to 20K a month is sort of like the cap of like that's like the top of like I guess middle class, and then beyond that, you see what's like that was around when I started to come to Miami, and I saw people that were making like hundreds of thousands a month, and I was like, huh, I wonder what
Like,
it'd be like if I could do that. And I think
yeah.
if you can get to here where you're at now, you'll have
Mhm.
no problem getting there if you really want to. Like it's a quick learning curve going from like being a copywriter to being an offer owner,
Yeah.
and it's really
Actually,
cool.
what a
So
story. Like I was telling
yeah.
my son this morning, I was like, come on, we gotta hurry up. I was like, mom's gonna, gotta record like a YouTube today. He was asking me, wanted me to pick him up early and take him to the park and stuff. And I was like, oh, I can't today because X or whatever. And I was telling him, I was like, I'm gonna be recording a YouTube thing. And he's like, you're gonna be on YouTube? It's like he thinks I'm famous, And I'm like, I just think that's such a riot. And like, what an example is that for like a young kid too? It's like, I could stay home and I could do nothing and just be a regular mom, or I could do something great. And like,
Hmm.
why not?
I love it. Yeah, let's start a
So
YouTube channel.
yeah,
Let's go for the YouTube.
yeah, gonna have to now, right?
Last question for you.
Sure.
So what do you think it was about the inner circle that like made this kind of quick for you and
Oh,
like
so many
eliminated a lot of
things.
the headache? And also, like, what would you say to someone who's maybe like you from a year ago, who's thinking about a different sort of career path and trying to think about like, what could I do and why should I do that? Like, what would you tell that person?
Uh, do it. Don't think about it. Just like take the leap. Like I think this is such an incredible industry. It offers like so much potential, so much flexibility. It's like the world really is your oyster. And it's so achievable. Like you you can be moderately good and still make a ton of money. Like there's just so many ways to like leverage your strengths and um that even if you have weaknesses, it doesn't even really matter. You just like lean into the things that you're good at and niche out. So I think it's achievable, honestly, for anyone. With the inner circle, it just like really speeds things up. It's like you can learn and grow as like fast as you want to. There are like daily coaching calls. Watch them, write notes. The amount of information at first is almost it seems overwhelming, but like once you like dig into it, it's you realize that it is designed in a way that is so strategic so that you can absorb as much as possible to gain this like as many skills as you need to be like competitive in the market. And it's like there's no end to it. If you just want to write like ecom emails and learn something like fast and dirty and simple, that's available to you. If you want to like write long form direct response and, learn about some deep shit, like that's there too. So it's like
Mhm.
everything is there. It's just up to you to honestly like just take it off the shelf and just pick what it is that you want to like design where it is exactly that you want to go. And like the support, it's like we were talking about before, it's like I'm not new to writing. I joke about like I've always had the juice. I've just never known what to do with it. And it's like you guys have that vision though. And it's like I need a Griff to tell me what I needed to do. You know what I mean? To like, if I wanted to get a job and it was like he saw these things in me and like directed me and he's like, if I was you, here's where I would go. So it's like you also get that like personal coaching as well, which is like it's invaluable. It's like you're not just on your own with like a stack of books and you don't know what to do. It's like you have people that are like available to you at any time that you can ask questions to, that can provide you with direction, and they're like skilled and in the industry. The other thing which I think is so cool is it's not like old information like other things that I'd kind of read online. It's like everyone has their finger on the pulse. They're like following trends. They understand where things are moving to, and be like the the courses and daily trainings are like modified to like reflect like what's happening in the market like as like at the moment. So that's super helpful too. And then when you go out into the market, it's like you're telling entrepreneurs like where they need to go, and like you're the expert, and and your information's good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we like. We want you to be their boss so that
Yes.
they have no choice
Yeah.
but to hire you. Like we want
Oh, and
you to
it's
know more than they do.
possible. Yeah, it's like it's possible. Like I don't know. I
That's
can't say enough good about the inner circle. I'm not even being paid to say this. It's just that powerful. Like
I
I was a
appreciate that.
bank manager at one point in my life, and I've never made the money I'm making now. Like I went to university, like I did so many things and taken so many like traditional routes to like build that like, you know, get that big job and make six figures and have all like flexibility and stability, and like it's just not possible with that model. But when you get into like digital money, it's like anything's possible.
I love it.
There's
I
a
love
circus
it.
out here.
Yeah, that's a great place to end it on. Thanks so much for hopping on.
Oh, my
Do you want to
pleasure.
plug anything? Do you want to plug Twitter? Is that where you're mostly on?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at mom copy.
Fire.
It's like at mom copy for everything. So I'm on Instagram too, and I'm gonna start yapping there a little bit too. So there'll be some entertainment to be had.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for coming on and congrats for real. Like I'm
Oh, thanks
so
so much.
stoked that you're
Thanks
killing
so
it like
much.
this. And
Thank you.
it's gonna triple in a few months. I know it.
You've changed my life, Mace. Thanks so much.